went to Umkat School of Journalism, started a diploma. At the same time, I had to get someone to sponsor. So I started in 1 year or in 2 years. I was in the same class with Benji actually for international relations, masters in international relations. But at the same time, I was doing another master's online in international development, and then I was also doing a journalism course at UMCAT. So I would I would meet Benji in class, but I would have attended other classes. Um, Again, for me, like Benji shared, the lesson from that course on international relations is the exposure to understanding how the world works, how states work, the role of each and every institution, especially the media for me, from that course was very crucial. And my journey to studying the NCI is also a personal experience. So key lesson for you, whatever experience that is personal you're going through based on either your passion or things that sort of like make you angry about this world, consider those a key starting point. So for me, it was going to ask for an internship and failing to get an internship because someone said you needed to know someone like a Ngamba Nogo Vesot in the in the in the in the in the in the TV station. So I walked away thinking about how many other young people go through the same challenge, and the idea for me was let's just democratize or nepotism and make it just reverse it and make it that if Benji is a manager at a TV station, Benji should be exposed to as many young journalists as possible so that he will never choose his relatives. So the same thing that the Bakash Media Foundation is doing, expose you guys to as many mentors and managers as they can, so that hopefully one day they can scout or recruit out of you. So it was the same idea, and for me, we've never looked back. We run right now a big journalism training program, probably one of the biggest in the region in East Africa.
Abbas,
We
could
run
you
a
kindly
media
conclude?
hub. So pretty much, yes. So that's my career now, to being the CEO of MCI. And also adding other businesses, which I will tell you about later. But yeah, I'll stop there now.
All right, thank you so much, Abbas. And probably your story is an encouragement to someone who probably thinks what they've studied is what they should do. Feel free, please, to explore to explore other fields and learn from very many different career sectors. So we had lost Sasha, but I don't know if she's back. Sasha would like
Yes, I'm back.
kindly. Well, thank you so much. Could we kindly listen to your story about how your career journey has been briefly? Thank you so much.
Oh, wow. My career journey. It started when I was 16. I started as a TV personality. But then as I grew up, I realized that's not where my passion was. As a young person, what matters is making the money sometimes, and you forget what really your passion is. So I started off TV presenting, but my vision was straight to humanity. I wanted to help people, but I didn't even know how. Like, how do you really transform lives? Just waking up in the morning and you do a good time project by giving out stuff is not going to change people's lives. You're going to help, you need to help someone change the way they think, the direction. So from day one, I've never wanted to be employed. Never. Actually, I've never even wished for it for some reason.
Sasha, can I interject just a bit?
Yes, please.
Could you please, since your network is okay, could you please maybe put on your video for people to feel the interaction?
Okay, it's just that I was up to something, but it's okay. Just a minute.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, as I was saying, I've never wanted to be employed. Like from day one, I didn't want that. But also, I knew I have to be aware of the system. You see, not everyone is privileged enough to go through the system or get that education that would lead them to somewhere. Not everyone has that privilege. So I always did side businesses. I was on social media then. I was networking with people. And I knew, however much I'm still studying, I need to create a career even before I get a degree, because that my degree should not define what I can do, because so many people have degrees, but whatever they're doing has totally nothing to do with their degrees. So I knew I had to kick off my career immediately. How? Connecting with people, networking, understanding the system even without being in it. To me, that was very, very important. I used my social media very well. So I used to do marketing for my clothing. I remember I had a car by that time, and it was a very small car, and it barely had AC. But I knew this car can actually make me money. You can't drive people, but you can actually drive clothes and you sell them. So I was always business oriented. I sold clothes. I would make money off that. By the time I joined campus, I knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't know the right course I wanted to actually do. All I needed was to help people, was to deal with humanity. Gladly, I did humanities and social sciences. And then I specialized in psychology. To be specific, I did clinical psychology. As I did clinical psychology, I started up an organization called A Smile. This is full of young people, people that are willing to do things and transform lives. These are people that don't have much. To me, from day one, it's not about what you've studied, because not so many young people have gotten the privilege to go through these different courses. But at the end of the day, you need to build a CV, and that's Draw a Smile. We have young people that are doing so much. Some didn't go to school. As someone said, they didn't expect to go to school. They didn't expect to go to campus. So where are we leaving people that actually didn't join campus? I was always in the middle. I've had the chance to go to campus, but I can actually do so much with my life, just like someone who has not gotten education. So building a career is not based on how much education you have. Draw a Smile came in before I got a degree. I did a business. It was called Sasha. I barely had an idea about hair. I barely did. But I knew to sustain this business, I need to connect with people that are in the business. So to me, connection was always important. I don't need to go to school to learn these things, but who is involved? Okay, some people say Ngamba no go, but who is involved? Who is in this specific business or venture I want to start? And through that, it really helped me present myself and package myself as someone that has actually gotten education through all these things. But it's all about connections. You need to make the right connections. You need to make the right friends, because that's what has brought me where I am. When I did clinical psychology, I did social admin on the side, because I knew at some point I'm going to deal with managing. That's how I started up the property business. The property business was something I didn't really have a really good idea about, but I knew if someone else can do it, if another agent can do it, if someone can wake up in the morning and tell you, I will charge you 8%, and I can give you your money right on time. You get it? Right on time, but I take a charge of 8%. I mean, it looks so easy. I'm like, if I have my arms, I have my feet, I can actually do the things. So to me, it was more about if someone else can do something, even if they're twice as educated, more than me, I can do it. it's all about connecting with the people that can actually give you the knowledge. So to me, that was important, and it has really led me really, really far. It has brought me this far. I can manage, I can deal with people. Apparently, I'm doing online counseling because I know young people are dealing with depression. They're dealing with anxieties. At 25, someone feels like they should already have like 10 years experience. Who is asking for that? You need to start with what you have as a young person.
Sasha,
you need to understand.
Conclude?
Oh, okay. Yeah, so as a young person, to me, it was always important to do things based on collecting knowledge from other people. I don't need to go to one institution. And that has packaged me to doing property management and to running Through a Smile as an organization that helps young people. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sasha. That's very insightful. I think from Sasha's story, your degree should not define what you can do. And it's not about what you have studied. So please always be open-minded to learn from other experiences in life. Always be open-minded to learn from your friends, to learn from all aspects of life for you to be able to create a life that is also impactful on other people. So thank you so much, Sasha. That was very nice. So let's quickly move on because we are time bad. I'll let Emmanuel Wabwire. I don't know if he's back because I saw us lose him. I saw like he was away. So I don't know if he's okay. You're welcome. So I'll give you another chance to speak first, so that we don't get issues with missing you because of network. What's your experience, or in other words, what is your encounter with self-employment? And I would like you to, while you're talking about that, also tell us the stereotypes that people normally have about self-employment. I can imagine many people do not want to go into that field because they fear taking risks, because they probably say, I don't have money, probably think you need 5 million or 100 or I don't know how much to start a business. So what are the stereotypes that people normally have about self-employment or self-employment, and what is this personal encounter with self-employment? Briefly emerge the two, and yeah, thank you so much. Meanwhile, to the audience, kindly interact in the chat room, kindly send us supplements if you have any, kindly interact. And we are also live on Facebook, as I had said, the Bakash Media Foundation Facebook page. So kindly feel free to interact, supplement, ask questions in the chat room, and we'll all attend to you. Thank you so much. You're welcome, Emmanuel. I don't know if we've lost Emmanuel. I see him, but we can't. I don't know. I see his microphone is actually unmuted, but we can't listen to him. I think it should be a network problem, or it should be that probably an issue with the phone volume and all that. So I don't know. We cannot. Emmanuel, we cannot hear you. I can actually notice that you're speaking. Emmanuel, we cannot
can you hear me?
listen to you. Now, yes, but I don't know if it will be consistent because we had lost you. We actually didn't hear
me
when you were speaking. Yeah,
Hello?
we can hear you now.
Okay, sorry. Well, there are three things that you look at starting a business. One, that are the most important is an enterprise.
We've lost Emmanuel. I don't know. Is anyone here? So maybe let's move on to the next They are already. Thank you so much, the audience, for utilizing the chat room. There are already questions I can see, especially to Sasha Ferguson, but she will be able to answer later. She'll be able to answer all the questions later. But Emmanuel?
I'm here. Sorry, there's been a network challenge. But can you hear me clearly now?
Yeah, I hope it will be consistent this time. Thank you so much. We can hear you.
We have stopped the car so that I can just mention my part, then we can move again. One of the things that the stereotypes you'll hear is, of course, in the industrial era, for you to start a business, you needed capital, you needed expertise, you needed a lot of things. But in my experience, especially in this information and digital era, the most important thing you need before you start a business is information. Which you need to find out what is happening here and there. But that information, without being acted on, is useless. So the first thing I'll talk about is wisdom. When you have wisdom, you get the information you need, and then you get the idea, connect it with your passion, and then you're able to spin into action, start. One of my favorite writers, Anne, says that embrace the ugly draft. So if you're starting your business, don't look at having the glamorous beauty, like for example now where Bakash Foundation is. No, look at the ugly idea that people will like my name, will people like the name of my business? Just embrace it. Don't mind about what you still can't hear me well. Hear me well now? Can you hear me well now?
We can hear you now.
Okay. So embracing the first ugly draft, the first idea, the first unpolished wisdom. That's the first thing that you need to look at as starting. Ideas
I think there is a network problem, really. We've lost you, Emmanuel. We'll probably maybe move on to Benjamin. Maybe we'll come back to Emmanuel later when his network is clear. Yeah, so Benjamin, like I had asked Emmanuel,
more
would like you to
valuable
kindly...
than capital, and you are able to think for you to start a business. The second element, please let me know when I break so that I can shift. I need to...
You're breaking.
How about now? I feel the bars have stabilized. Can you hear me now clearly?
Yeah.
Where did you stop hearing from?
It's okay, you can move on. We stopped listening to you when you were talking about embracing your first draft.
Yes. Embrace, because when you're starting a business, one of the things that you'll have to is to write down your ideas. When you write down your ideas, they are not going to be perfect. It will be a draft that is most probably not even acceptable to you. That doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. That means that you're looking at perfection and bettering the process. Now, one of the things that I would always advise any young person is don't think about capital first. Think about what you have at hand. And the resources that you have at hand is your mind, is a notebook, and is a pen. And that's what I encourage many entrepreneurs to think about. And the second element is understanding. Understand what is around you. Understand what you can do and be able to better and perfect the services you're offering.
You're breaking, Emmanuel.
We're moving, so I'll run through fast. Then the last other most important thing is marketing strategies to be able to attract. You've understood what works and what doesn't work. Increase your performance. Can you hear? Then I get network and then.
I think we've lost.
I'm suggesting that
Emmanuel, you suggested?
Another speaker can meanwhile speak.
That's okay. It's what I had actually said. That's fine. While we wait for you, another speaker can be speaking. We can go to Benjamin Rukwengye while we wait for Emmanuel to get clear network. So Benjamin, we are talking about what your experience or encounter with self-employment has been, and what are the stereotypes that people normally have about self-employment. We are running out of time. Could you kindly talk about
Martin,
that briefly?
could you pause that question again, please?
Benjamin, what's your experience, or in other words, what's your encounter with self-employment, and what are the stereotypes that people normally have with self-employment?
Is that okay? We're trying to get network, yeah.
Is that Benjamin?
No, that's not me. I think that's Emmanuel who's trying. So you might have to actually text him.
All right, but were you able to listen to the question clearly?
Yes, so you want me to talk about my experience and what stereotypes exist with the self-employment.
With people, the stereotypes that people normally have, not with the, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we're going to
thank
text
you.
the way and know what's the thing, yeah.
Okay, thank you. So my experience with self-employment was, how do I put it? It was, I think for me it was exciting because I was starting out with an idea that I was excited about. I couldn't wait to see how it would play out, how it would turn out.
Benjamin, just to interject, is it possible for you to kindly push your video on? Because I think with your video on, it makes the session feel more interactive to the audience. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I was saying that my experience with self-employment was very, very exciting. And I think this was because I was starting an idea that I was very excited about, something that I loved to do. And I couldn't wait to see what would happen along the way. I also know for sure that it would have been that much harder. So in 2017, when I founded Boundless, I got selected for the Tony Elumelu Entrepreneurship Program, which guaranteed that I would get $5,000 to use on Boundless. And that was amazing on two fronts. One, it was validation of the idea, because when I started Boundless, I hadn't quite figured out how I was going to make money. How Boundless was going to make money. I hadn't figured out the social business aspect, and I think that's something that many young people fall prey to, that we are so quick to build these ideas without thinking about where the money comes from. So it's so easy for someone to think, okay, I'm going to do a foundation, or I'm going to do an NGO, because they think that it's very easy for you to get money as an NGO. You just write grant applications and get money. But in fact, it's really, really difficult. So it helped. Getting selected for that program also required that I think of Boundless as a business and not merely as some NGO that was going to rely on grant funding. So and receiving the money also allowed for me to experiment with ideas, to reach out to a lot more people, to build to build traction and get some runway that every person who's starting out needs. And I think, so you move from that level to where now actually you move from being simply self-employed to now start transitioning into a business or an entity. And this now involves you being able to raise incomes, but also being able to build a team, being able to have clients, being able to bring partners on board. And that has been what we've been up to over the last 3 years or so, maybe 2-3 years. And seeing Boundless grow from where I was the only person that was working full-time for Boundless. So sometimes it was confusing. You talk to people about work and about consultancies, and it wasn't clear whether they were hiring me or they were hiring Boundless. And this is, 2017, maybe 2018, really. But to see that we've grown to a point where it's very, very clear that, there's Benjamin, the professional, the person, and then Boundless, the entity, the business, and the two can be separated from each other, has been such a great way to grow. And I appreciate that, because it shows how much putting in the work, but also meeting the right people at the right time can spur you on to the next level. And I know that Sasha mentioned that approaching people, building networks and stuff like that. I mean, in the last, especially when we had just begun, there are people that I used to talk to because I knew what they were interested in. I knew how good they were at the things that they were doing, even when I didn't have money to pay them, right? But I just approached them, sold them the vision, and they accepted to come on board and help us build this idea into a business. Now, in terms of the stereotypes that people have about self-employment, I don't quite have much to say in regards to what stereotypes people have or people don't have, because I think that at the core of it is that people who are in self-employment are trying to move to the next step, because we are wired to go into upward movement. So unless you're building, you're into consultancy, which is you're by yourself, you're a professional, you're an expert at a subject, and you prefer working alone. But a lot of us are looking to build from self-employment, rather from self-employment into building businesses and entities. So I just don't understand the question about the stereotypes, but I don't have much to say about what stereotypes people have or don't have about self-employment. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Benjamin. Thank you so much for that insightful discussion. So we lost Wabwire, but one thing I got from his discussion, despite the fact that we missed most of what he was saying, it says...
Am I audible?
Yeah, but can I kindly get back to you a bit later? So I was saying that one of the things I learned from him is that you should first choose the resources that are there with you before you start to think, I don't have money, I don't have, the rest. And he says those resources are your mind, your notebook, and the pen. Yeah. So let's go to Sasha. Sasha has a flight. So she wants to kindly summarize her discussion. So I'll let her talk about her encounter with self-employment. I'll let her talk about the stereotypes that people normally have with self-employment, and how can one know that they are good matches for self-employment. I know that's a bit tricky because everyone thinks you can be self-employed and everything, but maybe you'll just give us an insight to how one can know that they are good matches for self-employment. Thank you so much, Sasha. Briefly, make your discussion. Thank you so much. You're welcome.
Thank you. Yes. So you talked about, let me start with the good match. It's like
also,
talent.
Sasha, maybe just not to miss something. People had asked about your counseling sessions. How can they get to you, or what are your social media platforms? And someone asked, how best can one make right connection with how best can one make right connection when literally they don't even have access to those people they look up to? That was from Maya. Since you're concluding, I'll read all the questions that were going to you, but most of the questions were how to reach your social media platforms for counseling. Thank you so much.
Thank you. My social media platforms, it's Sasha Ferguson. There is a link in the bio to register for counseling. So once you reach my page, you will just see the link, click on it, and it will lead you to the registration page. So we're still talking about career and how I've been finding it. To be honest, it has helped me to be more creative. I've never been I don't think people that are employed are as creative as people that are self-employed. Not to create a comparison, but that's what I think. When I was younger and I had, started the business world, I remember I would post my clothes, the ones I'm selling online, and someone likes it. I know I can't post everything, but someone has picked on one thing. So I would deliver the thing myself. I remember my colleagues would ask me, but you can as well send a border to deliver this. I'm like, no, my strategy is different. I want to deliver this so that I can be able to show my clients or my customers something else. Video, okay. Yeah, I was still saying, I would always want to deliver things myself because I want to I want to meet my customers. I want to understand what else would they need? What else do they want? Because that's the only way I can make my business big. I can't make it big by just delivering one product. And you can't put out every product you have. So that way, people would be like, but you need to calculate fuel, you need to calculate this, you can't just deliver one cloth, and then it's not even equivalent to the fuel you are spending. I'm like, no, it's okay. If the customer is not interested, that will be fine, that will be on me. But if they happen to be more interested in my other products, that is a big bonus to me. So I would always calculate my market and also try to make sure I befriend people through my customers, their friends, because they could as well be interested in my product. So it helped me to be creative. As I sold clothes, I used to use different creams. I would mix them myself, and then I come up with something that really works on me. Then I would sit back and I'm like, I can actually come up with a cream business. What am I trying to arrive at? I did not have a lot of money, by the way. I did not have capital of 5 million to start up a business that would really, really run. But I was creative enough to think about this. If I'm dealing in clothing, I can lead to dealing in creams. I can also go to what I'm very, very much passionate about, supporting my organization. As I'm supporting my organization, we can do campaigns that will also attract other people to actually fund it. Because you can never lobby for anything like funds when you don't have anything to present. And you can't present anything if you're not able to do anything. I don't know if I make sense. So I always thought about putting my income in different things. If I can get money off here, I can put it in something else I'm passionate about to be able to flourish and make more money or make impact. To me, that was the thing. And creativity was the key thing, because the moment you are self-employed, you have a lot of room to fall and get back up without any judgment, without feeling like you can't do something. It is okay to try out different things and they fail. It is okay, because not everyone, whatever they started with as self-employed people, it's the same thing they're doing. Some are lucky enough to be doing the same thing, but not everyone. You try, fail, do something else, fail, do something else, fail, you do something else, boom, it's what you can do. Same as talent. Some people don't know their talent. Even at 30 years, you don't really know what you're good at. You're like, maybe I'm good at technology. Maybe I'm good at this. Maybe I'm good at marketing, but you're not yet so certain. But what can actually build you as CV? What can create impact to the world? What can change your life? What can change your family's lives? So to me, it helped me a lot. I don't regret it. However much, I also dealt with so many losses. And I think this is the problem. People don't want to be self-employed because they are scared. They are scared to dare to fail, because they know once you lose it, well, you're self-employed, you've really lost it, because everything is on you. Each and everything is on you. But here, when you are employed, whatever you do, the loss will be onto someone else. You understand? But you need to dare to fail. You need to work. You need to try out different things. And as you try out different things, it helps your mind to become very, very sharp. By the way, there is no very, very fast speed like self-employment, because you have to manage things. And once the business is stable, your only problem now will be managing. You want to be now on the ground levels. Young people now think being self-employed, you must make a lot of money. You must have capital with you. By the way, yourself, you could even be the capital. Yourself, you could be a writer, you could be a social media expert. So you really just need to use your brain. You just need to use your knowledge to actually make money off it. So you don't need any monetary capital to do something. Please remind me another question you asked. What was the other question?
I think that was
about
it.
my social media platform. Yes?
I think that was
Yes.
it. Maybe for the
That was
social media
it,
platforms.
Yeah, my social
Yes.
media
Oh,
platform.
sorry,
Sasha
I
Ferguson.
hadn't realized.
Yes, yeah, it's Sasha Ferguson, and the counseling sessions, you can find the link in my bio. Once you click on it, it will take you straight to the registration platform, and boom, we'll be able to connect.
Oh, yeah. The other thing is to give your parting shots since you're leaving, to give your parting shots and maybe talk about the opportunities you recommend for those interested in pursuing self-employment.
The opportunities. To be honest, opportunities really have a lot to do with what you can do as a person. Me, from day one, education is a very big bonus, and it's very, very important to study. But at the end of the day, it's what your brain can bring on the table. It's what you can do with your hands. It's what you can actually do without everything, without all the papers. So as a person, there are so many opportunities, by the way. There are so many. Just last year or 2 years ago, people never used to wear heavy makeup, but they made it a business. A face bit is 100,000. We didn't have this in 2015. you would only have like that first bit on your wedding or a very good big function. But now people wear very nice makeup just to go out. On a Friday, someone is making money, a lot of money out of their hands. People are writing, I know someone asked me a question. How do you make the connections if you don't even have the access to make them? Well, as a person, you need to position yourself. You want to achieve big, you need to position yourself for that big. You need to package yourself. You don't expect to meet really prominent people that will help you in your career. And for you, you've not even packaged yourself that way. What do I mean by packaging yourself? You need the knowledge. When you meet someone who is really informed, you must know something. You must be informed about everything, at least a glimpse. You need to know the current affairs. You need to know things that are going on in the world. Make people feel interested in associating with you. You don't need to know it all. By the way, the people that talk the most, some people that talk the most and they even threaten, it's not like they know it all, but it's all about how someone packages themselves. So you want to get those, you want to get to those people, you want to associate with them, also change your circles. Brand yourself, change the people you surround yourself with. You want to be up there, but you're surrounding yourself with people you are way better than in everything. When you look at different skills, you are the ones teaching them. So you are basically not learning from them. Where are you going to get the connections? You need to penetrate through this.
Sasha, could you please conclude?
Yeah, you need to penetrate through this world. And by the way, there is an easier way now. There is social media. It's a platform where you can actually show who you really are. You don't have access to these people, they will look for you. Come up with content. Come up with things that people in line with what you're interested in are interested in. Trust me, when you're praying and you're doing your best, you never know. Even if you're interested in, technology or something, maybe Mark Zuckerberg will just see a video of you on social media. It's like, I'm interested in this person. So somehow even the connections will find you when you put effort to it. Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Sasha. Thank you so much. I've learned one thing, that you need to position yourself perfectly for you to be able to get to have those opportunities that you seek for. Exactly. And you need to brand yourself. You need to change your circles. You need to know someone for something. Don't make friendships for, I would say.
And let people also know you for something.
Exactly.
That is very important. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much, Sasha. Thank you so much for, thank you so much for giving us an opportunity to learn from you and to learn from your experiences. We are so happy to have you today. We are so blessed actually for your time, and we appreciate that you could have set this time to prepare for your flight, but you gave us an opportunity, so we really appreciate it. And we wish you a safe flight. Thank you so much, and we wish you a safe flight.
Thank you.
Well, before I go to Abbas, kindly, Emmanuel says he has clear network and he would like to also conclude before he leaves, because I think his network will be terrible in the next few. So can we have Emmanuel conclude the same way that
I'm gonna
Sasha
jump
did?
Off, though.
Okay.
I'm also gonna jump
briefly.
Okay, I'll do briefly then. So I'll just summarize into three things. Number one, know the resources that you have. One of the most important resources, because you need to define capital. Yes, capital is important. One of the most important you have is human resource. That is you as an individual when you want to get to employ yourself. That's why they call it self-employment. That means the self is the first resource you have, your mind and so on. Number two is self is not only important if it doesn't have time. So the second resource you have is time. The time and your mind connects. Now you need to have a book. book and pen. A book and pen helps you relieve your mind from remembering every single time. So you commit your ideas to pen and paper, and that way you are able to allow your mind to further on develop the ideas that you've put down on paper. That makes it a trackable sense, in a trackable manner. And I remember when I started with those main three things. And the other thing is, of course, your social network. You need to be like a broker when you're intending to self-employ yourself. You need to know a little bit of everything, a little bit. What someone is doing, especially in your field of interest, what someone is doing, what the other is doing, who is offering this service, who is offering that. For example, I'll give an example of most people that I started a safari company. First, I didn't have a car. I didn't own a hotel. All I had was information and who owned what and what they charged. And all I did was to provide the service of connecting all this. And in the long run, I was able to restore my smartphone because I didn't have a smartphone. But then I was using Facebook through a cafe or sometimes through a friend's phone. And in the long run, I was able to generate income to do what I had to do. But that's just one example. What I'm saying is you need to know a little bit of everything in the service area that you're offering, and you need to know the value of the resources you have. If you're valuing your value, if you're putting in 8 hours a day, be consistent about that 8 hour every day, and you're putting in the work you're doing. Be efficient, meaning be better than yesterday every single time you are doing what you're doing. And be effective. Effective means also self-discipline. You need to self-discipline yourself so that you do not act as though you have nobody supervising you. You need to act as if someone is supervising you. And also never underestimate the humble beginnings. In other words, let that ugly draft, let that ugly beginning be something that propels you to earn your right on the table, to earn your position. So that with that understanding, people will, through your reputation and track record, start looking up to you, to your services, and so on. It's not about what you start with. The second thing is, of course, understanding. You need to increase your understanding, equip your skills in bookkeeping, understand financing, understand a bit of accounting, understand a bit of communications and marketing, understand the entrepreneur basic skills. Those ones are very, very important before you get into these other elements. Because of course, when you're starting, you know marketing, you know sales, you know branding, you can do those things which are seen out there. But behind the desk, when you're not on your Facebook page, your Twitter page, marketing, are you writing? Are you creating systems? If you're to recruit somebody to help you, how are you working with them? And most times at the beginning, do not recruit employees if you don't have capital. Get volunteers who believe in you, who want to work with you and support you. So understanding is very important. Upgrade. If you started with a particular product, improve that product to something better, something higher, more value addition is what they say. If you started selling ebinyewa in a simple kavera, learn more about packaging, more about other things and so on. If you started making maybe butter cakes, learn more about velvet, other things. So that is the understanding, expanding your scope of knowledge to do value addition. The last one is knowledge. Knowledge is very important because it is what attracts money. So you need to think about your customer behavior because you've gained experience. Of course, in your first year, you're going to anger some customers because you're not going to give them maybe a good service, a good product. They're going to maybe give you negative responses and so on. That is knowledge. Use it to make it better. Don't use it to go into self-pity. They say self-pity is the babysitter of Satan. So don't use it to self-pity and then you start saying, let me quit, let me close. No, use it to go into a better thing. You see, money in a business is not the life of the business. The system you've built is the life of the business. So if you go into negative, you're in loans and then you don't have money, don't think about closing. Just look at other ways on how to be able to resource mobilize and get resources. Now, remember that 8 hours a day may look like nothing, but 8 hours a day times 6 months, that is when you'll start seeing the growth in your company. And when you commit things to
pen and paper, you will be able to track how your ugly idea started becoming better, refined, and perfect. And you'll be proud. At home, I have a bunch of notebooks. I think now I am on the 15th notebook since 2015. And if I always laugh when I look at my old Faraja idea, it's just really something to laugh about. But I know I can now build something out of it. It's beautiful to see where you're coming from. You record. Meanwhile, I have a terrible handwriting, but in that terrible handwriting, I'm still able to track my progress and see. It inspires me that, yeah, I am growing. I'm not where I want to be, but I am growing, I'm increasing. And that is the most important thing that you need to always put into account. We were in the field evaluating different projects and businesses of young people. One of the young people said that they started a business with their uncle. They were selling produce. So the uncle died, and then the 4 wives of the uncle want to take everything. And one of the things that kicked in, and remember, is like, yo, Mercy, it is not about the room and the shop they are taking. No, you have built and understood a system on how to run a business. You have contacts of your clients you've built. It's okay. Sell your stock, save your money, look for somewhere else, call your contacts, call your customers, and start doing. You will build. With your humble beginnings, it will always come to a higher level. I recommend people who are starting businesses, don't put in a lot of money at the beginning. Put in a lot of effort and concentrate your monies to smaller beginnings, and you expand slowly as you increase. For example, if you have money to start with 1,000 hens, please buy 200 and go slowly, grow, go to 300, go to 400, like that. Even stock, even other things, just do that and work with that. There's scripture in Proverbs that says, with wisdom, an enterprise is built. With understanding, it is established. With knowledge, it is filled with riches. And I wanted to share that. But remember also, never underestimate the days of humble beginnings. And most importantly, you need to understand that where you started does not necessarily determine how good your business will. Any business person, you need to understand the key man policy. Make friends, be humble, and connect with everybody. And please, every content you hear out there, every information you hear out there, endeavor to open your mind to being alert and being able to learn. Don't ever think that you know it all in business, but rather be challenged to always learn, because you will learn more out there than in class. I did a master's in business, but guess what? Everything I did in my coursework was everything I learned in my experience. I think I just paid for the transcript and certificate. I don't know. It's not about the grades, but the reality is, what am I saying is, most of us out there have master's degrees. Some of us are PhD holders without necessarily having gone into the institution. The institution, in other words, what does that tell you about our education system? It's just a world order, a world system that validifies you, like verifies you. It's like having a social media account that doesn't have a blue tick. It doesn't mean that you don't exist. It means you exist and you have a following. The only thing the other one does is just verify you, because what university does is check your understanding.
Emmanuel?
Yeah, so in last is that social entrepreneurship or entrepreneurship is the way to go, because you are able to have a voice. You're able to move out of the poverty trap. You're able to also contribute to the society, your friends, the people around you. So if you're entering business to just earn money and become rich, that is not sustainable. But if you're entering business to also change people's lives, your richness becomes wealth, and it is more sustainable, because when you get down, the same people you helped, the same people you supported, or those who saw you do that, will come to your rescue and support you, and that is the sustainability you need. Thank you. Sorry about the network, but I think now it's safe to say I can move.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Okay, please. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Lucy, just a minute. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. One thing I learned from your discussion, and I hope all of us have learned a lot, but to understand the basics of self-employment, to understand how to manage your business, to understand what you need for you to start, regardless of whether you have the capital or whether you don't have, and everything. And where you studied does not determine what you do and what you become. And humility is key in life. Now, thank you so much, Emmanuel. I will just, we're going to have Abbas give his insightful discussion, I believe. We're going to have him now, but I can see a hand. It could be a question to Wabwire before you leave. I don't know what it is. Lucy, can you please unmute your microphone and probably ask or supplement?
Well, thank you so much. I'm actually not supplementing. The question goes to Emmanuel. At what point in Red Cross did you feel like it's now time for me to actually quit employment and dive into your own businesses and all that? Because I feel this is something that I personally struggle with, and like, how will things go? What if I fail? What if things just don't work out? At what point in employment do you feel like it's time for you to actually quit and run your own businesses? Thank you.
I don't know if Emmanuel was able to hear you, but personally I was.
I heard a bit. She was asking at what point did I manage to quit and start my job, right?
Okay, briefly answer.
Maybe, okay. I wouldn't say quit. I needed the experience. Everywhere I was employed, I was under mentorship. My bosses didn't know it, but I made sure that I was under mentorship because the goal was for me to generate and create wealth, because I come from an extremely poor background and I knew people depended on me. And I knew that also as a leader, because I've had a leadership track from being HP, head boy, HP, community general secretary, guild president, National Students Council, Youth Council, and up to Commonwealth, Africa, all those. Every one of them depended on me for scholarships, opportunities, Merealero, everything. I knew that I don't have the luxury to stay in a job. And I knew that even my family, they have a lot of needs, a lot of issues to deal with, that I couldn't really just stay there and say, okay, let me start, because I have to pay fees for my kid brothers, kid sisters, and so on. So I had to go through mentorship, and any opportunity. I went in as a volunteer at Red Cross, and from Red Cross, I went in as a volunteer to World Food Program and then UNICEF, and then went into a very difficult boss.
Emmanuel, kindly conclude.
I'm concluding. And I had to work with a tough boss who taught me how to settle down, sit in office, concentrate. And when the last one I worked with was British Council, they taught me how to do professionalism, to value time, because I had to fill in timesheets and all that things and so on. So by the time I reached there, I felt that I could start. But that was not it. Most of the things I learned was also on YouTube. I was just putting into practice some of these things. Majority of my work experience is volunteer based. Then I had a few contracts which I could work with. So at 25 is when I decided to, you know what, now I can start on my own and I can go. And I knew that I would depend. I only needed rent of 200,000 shillings, or sometimes I would have to flex with my landlord. And at the end of the day, I knew I needed a Rolex every day, and all I needed is a phone. I needed a bit of bundles, and I needed to go. And I timed and said 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, I would be able to save, cut costs, and be able to focus on where I want to go. So it's not quitting. It's rather going through mentorship and planning and say, if I can learn this within 1 year, I need to start here. If I can learn this within 6 months, I need to start here. So it's advisable to have something for 6 months and then be able to push or propel in. Sometimes it may be at your home or friends, or may not be in an organized institution. It doesn't matter. You just need to be under somebody to get a bit of mentorship, or even you can be under somebody through internet. following, for example, Sasha, they inspire you, you can reach out to them, talk to them, and so on. Then after that, you can be able to start. So it's not everything, every experience is valuable for an entrepreneur who wants to go into self-employment. Nothing is useless.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. I hope we learned that it is important for you to use every opportunity that there is for you to learn, and maybe that could prepare you for what you look for or what you look up to. Thank you so much, Wabwire. I hope you stay online for the other questions that will be coming through.
I will stay online, but now from here, I may not be very, I will talk, but I can't guarantee the good network. So, but I'm very much online.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. Let's now go to Abbas Mpindi. He's been waiting. We are so sorry for the delay, but I'll let him also do his discussion to talk about his encounter with self-employment, to talk about the misconceptions or stereotypes that people normally have with self-employment, and to talk about also how one can know that they are good matches for self-employment. Thank you so much, Abbas. You're welcome.
Thank you. I'll keep it super brief. So misconception number one is that I have bad. It's not for everyone. That's a reality. Some of us are going to be employed by others, and we should embrace that. I don't know how you will find out if you can be self-employed or not. The truth is, some people will always be employed by others. So, however, start, like dare yourself, start something, and see how that goes. But what I know is that it's not for everyone. So, that's the first, I would say, what I believe is it. Another one is that when you're self-employed, you have all the freedom. No, you don't. You might have the freedom to decide what to do and to work on something you a lot of freedom, but also stress all the time. Of course, you'll get stressed, the same stress that come from a normal job that you do. You just need to be able to take care of yourself all the time and know within the busy schedule how to, create time for what people call, life and work balance. It's hard. I'm not the best person to advise you on that. But if you get yourself into self-employment, make sure that you're able to create a space where you can balance your life and work. And then there's a whole lot of like, oh, you become your own boss. You have a lot of money. Also that one, it's true. You can get some resources to be able. The thing that you have the power to control resources, which is very important, and how to use them.
I think there is a problem with the network. You're breaking. I think there is a problem with the network.
The misconception there is that a lot of people will assume that you have a lot of money. Hey, so I think I don't know if it's just you, but
No, we cannot. We're losing you. You're breaking. I think there is a network.
Can you hear me okay now?
We didn't hear that,
Hello?
Abbas.
Right there. Those details with. No, I'm saying like if the network is not coming through, I'm concluding now. If you're interested in self-employment, I would just say start. But also remember, you can have a day job and still have something on the side that could be sort of like start with a job somewhere and help yourself to have like a cushion that allows you to create something on the side and transition from there. That's the most safe things a lot of us have done. We've had jobs and then we've transitioned slowly into employing ourselves. that would be like a safest advice I would give you. For now, I'll stop here and say goodbye. Please feel free to reach out on social media. Follow Media Challenge Initiative. And Isaac, feel free to share my contacts with anyone who wants to reach out. Thank you very much. And have a nice
Thank
day. I
you.
have to.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Abbas. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much for your time, for creating time for the youth, and for allowing to share knowledge. Please, the audience, please kindly join the Bakash Media Foundation. There is a conversation on Twitter. It's going to go on regardless. So please feel free to hashtag career series, career essential series. Feel free to also follow the panelists and ask them if you have any questions, but also we are going to have a Q&A right now. I don't know if Benja is still around to give his parting shots before we go into the Q&A and probably talk about the opportunities that are there before you dive into self-employment. The opportunities you recommend for those interested in pursuing self-employment. And I hope you do not forget the key word from Abbas's presentation: start. You cannot know if you're a good match for self-employment or if you're a good match for anything unless you start. So I hope we've learned that. And let's have Benjamin talk about the opportunities that are there for people that are interested in pursuing self-employment, and give your parting shots very briefly in like 2 minutes or one. And then we go into the Q&A and conclude the session. Thank you so much for your patience. To the audience, thank you so much for your support. Let's have Benjamin. Thank you.
Thank you. The first opportunity is that almost anyone can go into self-employment. And if you think about, the employment structure of Uganda, where if you're starting out, you'll probably earn an average of 350,000 shillings, regardless of your level of qualification. But that's entry-level money. Many people on this call, even if they are students, understand that that's not money off of which they can live for a month. So it's important that if you're on this call, you're thinking about some sort of employment outside of whatever else you're doing. So there are opportunities around that. There are areas that are still very, very unexplored, green areas in this country. In fact, no pun intended, one of those is the green economy, which is around climate change and things like that. That's a new area, and it's going to grow the more we industrialize and start encroach on all our swamps and forests and nature. So there are opportunities around that, in that space. There are opportunities in data, right? Data mining, data management, data analysis and presentation and all of that. Because of the power that data is going to have on us, on our lives, especially from corporate entities going forward, there are opportunities there. And there is, in fact, shortage of
Benjamin, kindly conclude.
Okay. Yeah, there is, in fact, a shortage of qualified human resource in areas like that. So I would say those are the two areas that come to mind. But if you're going to succeed in self-employment, it's pretty much the same as if you were in employment, that you need to build your capabilities, you need to build your expertise, you need to build your skill set such that you're different from the next guy, because you won't be a monopoly. There's no chance that you're going to be a monopoly. So you've got to think about what makes you different from everybody else that's out there doing whatever it is that you're doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Benjamin. Thank you so much to all the panelists that give us their time. So we're now going to Q&A. I'm sure that the audience has been listening for quite some long time. They probably also have something to say, a supplement, a question, and anything. So I'm going to have 1 or 2 questions. Just raise up your hand. If you have a question, kindly raise up your hand and let's get into the Q&A. Anyone with a question? Someone asked if these conversations are recorded. Yes, they are, and they are on our YouTube channel. So you have to, you're going to be accessing them regardless of whether you come in late or early. So yeah, I don't know if there is any question. Meanwhile, I'll be waiting for the questions, but let's get into a second poll. Like I told you, the first poll was for evaluation. So we're now going to have a second poll for you to help us improve our future sessions. We are going to, of course, I told you this is episode 4 in season 2, and we have 4 more episodes to go because we have 8 episodes. So let's rate this session. How has been your experience? Are you highly dissatisfied? Are you dissatisfied? Was it ordinary? Are you satisfied or are you highly satisfied? Did you learn from this conversation? Thank you so much. Let's go together so that by the time I finish, you're also done. The next question in this poll is, which sector or sectors should we tackle for our next session? Yeah, probably your sector has not been tackled in season 1, it hasn't been tackled in season 2, and we have 4 more episodes to go for this season. Which sector would you like us to tackle? Journalism and communication, performing arts, international business, agriculture, legal practice, medicine and health, mining and energy, creative, tourism and industry, tourism and hospitality. Let's go on. Yeah, that was it for this poll. Thank you so much for participating. And if you've not yet, if probably as fast, you're going to see a poll in progress on the top left corner of your phone. Just tap on it and you'll be able to access the poll. I don't know if there are hands raised. The audience, do you have any questions for our panelists? Because they're ready to answer you. I'm waiting. I'm just giving one minute, just like this, for any questions that could be there. So I don't know if the silence should mean you learned and you understood the self-employment conversation so well, or if you were probably confused and didn't follow up to the end. I really wanted to know.
I think there are questions in the chat box. I think there are questions in the chat box, if I'm not mistaken.
All right. Someone is saying, why is it not easy for one to take risks involved with the use of money? I'll probably take that question to Benjamin. Benjamin, are you still here? Benjamin, are you still here?
I'm here, but the question is not clear.
Yes, he is. The question is, why is it not easy for one to take risks involved with the use of money?
What does the question mean? I don't understand.
The question is, why is it not easy? Why? Probably
can
he's
Musa ask
asking
the question because it's not clear.
I think for me, from the understanding of the question, he seems to ask, why do people fear that probably when they get into self-employment, they'll lose their money, they have risks of, I don't want to put in maybe my 5 million and I lose it, I don't want, why is it hard for you to involve yourself in something that has to do with money? But maybe I'll let him, okay, Emmanuel, thank you so much.
Okay, if I understand it is like saying, why is it difficult to trust in investing money and start? And also,
exactly.
So basically, it's because we've had more of negative stories about loss and dwelt in stereotypes to before starting businesses. So people have what we call false expectations. And also it's because that we are moving more and more into a generation that wants to work less and less, and a generation that wants to read less and less, to seek information less and less. So in other words, because we are moving more and more into automation than the actual principles of hard work. Remember that automation is just a complementation to simplify the work. One, also because we attach too much value to money, we think everything in starting a business is money. And one of the things that I'd like to maybe answer, Musa, is, and maybe my colleague will add, is that the reality is losses are part of the equation. But when you're looking to start a business, if you don't want to lose money, one of the advices I'll give you is that go into less capital intensive ventures. Ventures that more seek your hard work, the use of your mind, and the use of what you have. Remember that what I talked about, the principle of what you have, than just looking at money. Because if you go into stock exchange, what, and so on, that's more of money, and you don't know what will come out of it, whether it will work or it will not work, whether the values will go up or the stocks will drop down and so on. But there are a lot of business opportunities, and the environment in Uganda is very lucrative and welcoming for you to go into less less cash intensive ventures where you don't need to spend a lot of money,
Emmanuel, as you
but you have money to complement.
As you conclude, I'll also let you answer the question because we are finalizing. Should youth startups have expectations in government to help them out in
I beg your pardon, should you?
Let me get this person to raise their hand. Maybe you can be concluding on that, and let me get this person to raise their hand for this question.
Okay. So basically is you risk in entrepreneurship is part of life. So accept that. But also I'd like to inform you that value is not only on money. There is value in the time you put in. There's value in the effort and the hard work you put in. So that even though money sometimes may go a little bit negative and so on, the other elements do complement what you do. I have a question here from Monica Annunciata. It's a direct message. It says, you talked about social entrepreneurship. What strategies should one lay to keep self-esteem, to be self-esteemed or self-employed, despite the underlying circumstances in the relation to COVID pandemic?
And there is this one also. Should youth startups have expectations in government to help them out in resource mobilization?
Yes, okay. So
briefly, because we also have a hand.
Yes, for the first one, I would say yes, when it comes to COVID and business, I think you should be innovative and adaptive. I remember when they were introducing the Bakash Media Foundation, one of the things they mentioned is they adapted to the current circumstances of COVID. So whatever the business you're doing, one of the things that you need to do is to adapt. If you're selling clothes in Chikubo, you might need to think about delivery, home delivery services, online marketing and selling, and a few other additions. If you're running a social enterprise or an organization, you might think about online platforms like these to have engagement and dialogue and so on, and also trainings online, different tools, but also other means to look at that. If you're, whatever you're selling, innovation is important and more creativity is important, and it doesn't hurt to consult, to research, to adapt again. About the government opportunities, yes, every opportunity for financing, go for it, as long as it does not compromise your values, your morals. If I will tell people, if people in, like, for example, for me as a Christian, if Muslims came to give me money, I will gladly accept it. They're not asking me to convert. They're aligning with my objectives and my mission and my what I do. So I will do it gladly. If homosexuals, gay people, they have their own rights. If they come and give me resources, I will gladly do it, and I will use the money to do what I'm meant to do. If I have a client or a customer who is a witch or traditional doctor, that's the word now, I will use it.
Right.
I will do what I will do and be able to achieve the goal and objectives I have. Because even the Bible itself tells you that the wealth of the wicked will come to you. Use it to be able to achieve the goals you're meant to achieve. So you don't need to segregate resources. If resources come, you're not going to squander it. You're not paying a bribe. You're not stealing. It has come in a proper way, in a right way. You're not sleeping with somebody to get it. Government is offering you an opportunity. It's perfectly okay if you can get it. If you can get and apply. I remember my colleague talked about Tom Emelu opportunity. If he got it, and I'm sure it really propelled and helped him. Personally, I've also applied to different opportunities, including Youth Livelihood Fund itself when I was starting a long time ago. Yes, I didn't get it, but if I got it still, I would have been able to achieve what would have taken. The most important thing is how you manage that resource and how you use it, because that is where we fail. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. I'll take one hand like this, and we conclude. Gerard, please unmute your microphone and ask your question or supplement.
Thank you very much for this meeting, for this opportunity I've been given. I'm so grateful that I've been able to attend today, and it's my first time. So my question
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. My question is, since we started the meeting, I have heard about talking about one can start up a business or one can start up something without money. Say that you don't need to have a lot of money to begin something. But then my question is, yes, I have knowledge. I have a lot that I've compiled. I've written down, I've used my pen, I've used the notebook, I've noted down everything. But how can I put that in action? We read without money. Thank you. Did you get my question?
What's that you've put down in writing? What business idea? Give an example.
Well, I start like, say for example, you have about, maybe you're about to begin your NGO. Say somebody talked about, like, with people have in mind that to start up an NGO, they need to, maybe they think of maybe writing proposals so that they can get money very quick, but it's not easy. But then if I have in mind that I want to start up something and I have maybe figured out the problem that I need to solve among the community, but I don't have that money to begin that, how can really one start up without having that money?
Okay, from what you say, I get that you have not yet figured out what the idea you want to start, isn't it?
Yes.
The reality is that you have to first get that idea. Because when you get the idea, for example, if I'm thinking about starting an NGO and I get an idea, I write it down on pen and paper, the next thing I'll think about is what objectives can I do without money? If it's a capacity building, okay, how many people can I mobilize naturally? And how many can I meet people? How many people can I meet? It might be under our tree, under a particular place, and then you're able to start from that. And then with the, because the most important thing is establishment. If you're looking at maybe you need to be specific about ideas, because it's very difficult for you to discard your ability to start before you even develop your idea. Because before, they say construction of the house begins from you drawing the plan of the house. How many bedrooms, this is going to do what, this room is going to do what, this room is going to do what. Because if you do not define exactly what you want, then you cannot stand and tell yourself an excuse of, I need money. You need money for what? You get? You need to define why you need money. And even for those of us who believe in faith, Sometimes we complain that Allah is not listening to us or God is not listening to us. God, you're going to God to ask for God to give you money. To do what? Because that money can kill you if you do not have a vision and a purpose for it. So you need to first define, sit down on paper, agree with yourself and say, this is what I want. And if you feel the idea is not good enough, talk to other people and refine your idea, maintain your authenticity.
Thank you,
Refine your
Emmanuel.
idea to make it better. Don't jump to other people's ideas. So that is the thing I'd look at.
Thank you. That's really nice.
All right.
Good. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Thank you so much. So now we'll be concluding, but just before we leave, I don't know if I am very clear. My AirPods battery just shut down, and so I don't know. Am I clear or am I having echoes?
You're clear.
You're
All right.
clear.
Thank you so
Martin.
much. Well, thank you so much. So I'll let technical team display our next week's topic just before we go. I don't know if the administrator is ready. Yeah, very ready. So our next week's topic, that will be episode 5 of season 2. I told you we have 8 episodes. This has been the 4th episode. We have more 4th episodes to go. So our next week's topic is preparing for jobs of the future.
Is it me or will?
So I pray that you will attend, and I'll also ask your friends to attend. Those that don't know about Bakash Media, I pray that you will talk to them about it, and let's attend next week's episode. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Right, Martinet.
The administrator has posted some. Yes, Isaac.
Maybe before, I'm sorry, I know we are so late, but there was one more question directed to Benja Street on how can someone sell his or her products like writing if it's about social capital. I don't know if that question is clear to Benjamin. In a minute, I think I don't want to go this person to go unanswered.
Thank you, Isaac. I think one of the ways to do that is, first of all, many of us have our social media platforms, right? Facebook, you can build blogs and stuff. And when you think about social capital, most of the times you're thinking about people that are out of your space, but you already have people in your space that have networks outside of the ones that you have. So those can be your starting point. If you wanted to sell your writing to a newspaper, it's easy for you to find people within your networks that then you can start with, and then they introduce you to others outside of your network. So how we go about building networks is very, very important, but it starts with the people we have in our spaces, in our communities, our friends on Facebook, our friends on all of these other social media platforms. They allow for you to, and in fact, now you can actually just text people or DM them. If you're speaking sense, they will listen. So don't worry. You don't worry about selling products like writing and stuff, because all of these editors are online, and if you send them something that's amazing, they will listen and publish it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Benjamin, for that. And please, as we conclude, kindly follow Bakash Media Foundation on all platforms, on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube. Subscribe kindly. And then our WhatsApp number is 0706-909-576. If you'd like to ask anything or advise on how we can improve our future sessions, kindly inbox Bakash Media Foundation. The administrator has posted everything in group. Please don't forget to vote for Bakash Media Foundation for the best newcomer in the East African Startup Awards. Kindly don't forget, and also for the fundraising that Isaac Bakashaba talked about in the beginning. Kindly don't hesitate to support us for us to be able to mentor the youth effectively. Thank you so much for attending. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for being patient. I am so sorry we had 19 more minutes from the scheduled time, but we pray and we hope that we'll do better next time. Thank you so much. See you in the other incoming episodes and sessions. Thank you so much for the consistency. Kindly let's continue the discussion on Twitter with the hashtag Career Essential Series and hashtag our panelists for them to be able to reply your questions, and also hashtag us Bakash Media Foundation for us to be able to see your supplements, to see how best we can improve our future sessions. Thank you so much. We hope to see you next week, same time, for our next week's episode. Thank you so much. See you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Take care.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Aine Babas. Thank you.